Okay. So our recording cut. So just now my question was, what is the difference between continuous motion and erratic motion? The answer is, for continuous motion, we could represent velocity, position, acceleration, each one of them with a single mathematical equation. But once the motion is erratic, that means we cannot represent neither the velocity nor the acceleration nor the position with a single mathematical. So you might need 2 or 3 or 4 or maybe 6 or indefinite number of mathematical equations for you to represent the motion for the entire journey. So you have from point A to point Z as an example. So you might have like 1 or 2, 3, more than one. As long as more than one, then that motion is erratic. So because of that, we represented graphically. Because of that, we cannot represent it mathematically. We can represent it mathematically, but it's like we have too many mathematical equations and too many boundaries. So it would be easier for us to represent it graphically. So we represent position versus time graphically. You see, is graphically represented. You have now position versus time graphically represented. Okay, we have velocity versus time graphically represented. You might not be able to have a single mathematical equation to develop this graph. Therefore, this motion is classified to be erratic motion. And once it is erratic, we make use of graphical methods to determine velocity or acceleration or position. Okay? Kesman here who couldn't catch up with what I said just now. What is the difference between erratic motion and what do you call continuous motion? بله نور الدين نا دانا كي لا يخد كسكا بوي او هنا نكا ايكو نكا
قلت استاذ جان قلت تناغا ولا موضوعك
موضوعك اويا ب continuous motion يك equation تبيه دتواني velocity بيدركي acceleration و position اوكي بلام erratic motion يك equation ناتواني بيدركي چونکە موشنەکە بەیەک equation هین ناکرێت ئەو شتە يعني we cannot represent it okay يعني بەیەک equation ناکرێت من مەبەستم ئەوە نیە equation velocity یەکسانە بە equation acceleration و هەمان شتە بەوە نه we have to derive the equation, but we have a single equation that could represent the motion for the entire journey. يعني بوهمو distance كان لصفر وهتصل دتواني بيك equation velocity كاني بدوزينوا بيك equation acceleration كي بدوزينوا لهمو تايمك وبيك equation position كي بدوزينوا بوهمو تايمك. اوكي؟
جوازك بس هاوكي شكلنا.
جوازكي او ايه كناتوانين بيك equation represent بكي بدو equation اواني بس هي equation لبر او we make use of the graphical method يعني بجراف برسم دوستي اكين okay we graphically represent position velocity and acceleration كارما
استاذ لو بابا همو كاتب سيارة كان رسمه كده
بيكامو بله شلون
لو بابا همو كات سيارة كان رسمه كده
بالضبط كاتيا erratic رسمك في اداء يعني شرطني رسمك بس على اكثر رسمك بله على اكثر رسمك بابا اوكي إذا مهم فرق كان بزانين بين الكونتينوس و erratic شيء اوكي card one
okay
twice you write it twice لا ديارني نايدا okay so now we move into how we can develop those graphics okay we come into now we have S versus T V versus T يعني position versus time velocity versus velocity versus time, acceleration versus time. Okay, so now if we have if we have velocity, we know the definition of velocity. What is velocity? Velocity is change of position with respect to time. Velocity is equal to so if you have this graph, which is position versus time, if you have this graph, would you be able to plot v versus t? Is it possible for you to plot this diagram?